Stop chasing $1 million. Seriously, stop. That magic seven-figure number is a psychological trap designed to keep you feeling overwhelmed and stuck. The truth is, there is a much smaller, much more explosive milestone that completely rewires your brain and transforms your relationship with reality. And once you hit it, the rules of the world change in your favor forever. That number is $20,000. My name is Bob. I spend an unhealthy amount of time obsessing over financial psychology and why some people sprint toward wealth while others stay trapped in the same soul-crushing cycles for decades. If you want to master the actual mechanics of wealth instead of just praying for a miracle, hit that subscribe button right now and give this video a thumbs up. It's time to see money differently. Before we talk about why $20,000 is the ultimate game changer, I have a question for you. When you imagine building wealth, what do you see? Is it a trust fund kid who never worked a day in his life? Or is it a person grinding their life away, saving $1 at a time until they're too old to enjoy it? The truth is, wealth building is neither of those things. It doesn't work the way the movies or the gurus tell you. Real wealth is built through invisible barriers. Once you cross them, the game levels up. $20,000 is the first massive threshold. It is the border between those who will spend their entire lives living paycheck to paycheck and those who will actually become free. And most people don't even know this border exists. Think of it like this. You're pushing a massive, jagged boulder up a steep, muddy hill. You're straining. You're sweating. Your veins are popping. You're making zero progress, and you're starting to ask yourself if this is even possible. That is what the first $10,000 feels like. But then, something shifts. You hit $20,000. Suddenly, the boulder reaches the peak. You give it one more nudge, and it starts rolling down the other side effortlessly. Before $20,000, you are fighting gravity. After $20,000, gravity starts working for you. But here's the part that will actually blow your mind. The difference isn't just the math. It's not just that you have more capital. The real transformation happens inside your skull. When you have zero savings, your brain is stuck in survival mode. Every single financial decision you make is filtered through a lens of fear and scarcity. You take the first job offer you get, even if the boss is a nightmare, because you can't afford to be picky. You stay in toxic situations because leaving feels like a death sentence. You say yes to things you hate because you're a slave to the next paycheck. This isn't just being responsible. When you're in survival mode, your brain literally cannot process growth or opportunity. It's like trying to plan a luxury vacation while your kitchen is actively on fire. Your entire mental bandwidth is consumed by immediate threats. But the moment you cross that $20,000 line, your brain finally has the oxygen to think. Instead of asking, how do I survive until Friday? You start asking, how do I make this money grow? You stop being reactive and start being proactive. Vanguard's research shows that just having $2,000 in an emergency fund increases your overall well-being by a staggering 21%. Think about that. $2,000 less than the price of a fancy laptop creates a massive psychological shield. Now, when you scale that to 3 to 6 months of living expenses, which for most people is that $20,000 mark, you get another 13% boost. But more importantly, you've created the breathing room required to stop being a preserver and start being a builder. Now let's look at math because math is beautiful. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month and earning an 8% return. Getting to your first $20,000 takes about 19 months of pure discipline, sacrifice, and saying no to things you want. It's hard. Most people quit at month 7. But look at the second $20,000. It doesn't take another 19 months. It only takes 17. Why? Because for the first time in your life, you have a worker helping you. That first $20,000 is sitting there, generating its own returns while you sleep. You did the same amount of work, saved the same amount of money, and took the same risks. But you just shaved 2 months off your life sentence because your money started pulling its weight. By the third $20,000, the timeline shrinks again. And when you hit the big leagues, let's say $400,000 in a portfolio, your investments will generate $20,000 in just 5 months. The same amount that originally took you 2 years of blood, sweat, and tears now happens automatically while you're on a beach. That first milestone feels impossible, but every single one after it, wealthy people have access to secret investments or exclusive hedge funds. And sure, at the ultra-high end, that exists. But that's not what drives the $20,000 phenomenon. The secret is just basic, undeniable mathematics. If you invest $1,000 and it grows 10%, you made $100. It's nice, but it doesn't change your life. But apply that same 10% to $20,000. Now you've got $2,000. That's a month's rent. That's a flight to Europe. That's money that actually matters. You're using the same index funds, the same broker, and the same strategy as the person with $1,000. The only difference is scale. And scale is what transforms savings into freedom. But here is the most important point of this entire video. When you save that first $20,000, you have accomplished something far more valuable than a balance in a bank account. You have fundamentally rewired your own identity. To save $20,000 from scratch, you had to develop ironclad discipline. You had to track your dollars. You had to say no to the shiny objects and the instant gratification that keep everyone else broke. You proved to yourself that you are the master of your money, not its servant. You became the person who can delay gratification. That isn't just a financial skill. It is a superpower for life. This identity shift changes everything. Before the $20,000, a $4 coffee feels like a moral crisis. After the $20,000, you don't sweat the small stuff because you've already mastered the big stuff. You've proven you can handle the heavy lifting. And then you start seeing opportunities instead of threats. To a person living paycheck to paycheck, a broken car is a tragedy. It's a disaster that derails their entire month. But to you, with $20,000 in the bank, it's a minor inconvenience. A dead laptop, an excuse to upgrade, a rent hike, a reason to look for a better neighborhood, or negotiate your salary. You start noticing doors that were always there, but you were too blinded by stress to see them. Your friend is starting a business and needs a $5,000 seed investment. You can actually consider it. A killer real estate deal pops up on Zillow. You can run the numbers instead of just scrolling past with envy. A career-changing conference in another city. You can pay your own way and invest in yourself. This is what people mean when they say, money goes to money. It's not a conspiracy. It's that having cash gives you options, and options create more opportunities to win. This leads to a shift in your career that is almost unfair. Having $20,000 gives you walking away money. If you're broke, you're trapped. You have to take the abuse from a toxic boss. You have to stay in a dead-end role. You have zero leverage. But when you have $20,000, you could quit tomorrow and survive for months. You don't even have to use the money for it to work. Just knowing it changes your body language. You become more confident. You become more assertive. You ask for the raise you deserve because no doesn't scare you anymore. And guess what? When you show up with that level of confidence, people notice. You get better assignments. You get more recognition. You get paid more. It's a positive feedback loop that accelerates your wealth even faster. But listen closely, because this is where 90% of people fail. They hit $20,000. They feel that rush of power, and then they immediately blow it. They buy a new car because they earned it. They take an expensive vacation. They use it as a down payment on a house they can't actually afford to maintain. Do not do this. $20,000 is not a reward. It is a foundation. It is the seed that grows into generational wealth. The average person spends more on car payments over their lifetime than it would take to achieve total financial independence. Between the $700 monthly payment, the insurance, and the gas, they are setting $400,000 on fire over a 40-year career. And they do it while complaining they can't afford to retire. When you have the $20,000 mindset, you stop thinking, can I afford the monthly payment? And you start thinking, what is the opportunity cost? That $30,000 car isn't just $30,000. It's $200,000 of future wealth you just traded for a new car smell. Suddenly, driving a reliable used Honda doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like a strategic move to fund your freedom. The person in the flashy BMW is likely stressed, broke, and one bad week away from ruin. The person in the 10-year-old Toyota with $20,000 in the bank is the one who truly a miser. It's about being intentional. It's about realizing that you don't actually want half the stuff you're told to buy. That bigger apartment? Is it worth 5 more years of working a job you hate? That expensive hobby? Is there a cheaper way to get the same joy? When you have clear goals and you understand the power of compound interest, it becomes easy to choose what you really want over what you want right now. $20,000 won't make you a billionaire tomorrow, but it will fundamentally change the way you move through the world. It is the difference between surviving and thriving. It is the moment you stop reacting to life and start designing it. Start building that foundation today. Your future self is waiting on the other side of that hill, and they are counting on the decision you make right now. Trust me, they will thank you for it. If this helps you see money in a new light, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below. What's the first thing you're going to change to hit your $20,000 goal? Let's get to work.